Alex, a lot of people say this is the year I'm going to invest. Yet time goes on and they don't move forward with it. What is preventing them from starting to invest even though they know it matters?
I think the fear of investing feels permanent in a way that a lot of decisions don't.
Mm,
You're dealing with the chance of losing money. You're dealing with a lot of things that are unknown where you can look foolish and make mistakes. And what ends up happening is people get scared of all of these things and they choose to do nothing
mm.
because it feels safe. But they're really not thinking about what the long-term impacts are of doing nothing.
Alex, that's fair. And a lot of people are thinking about their future, their goals, what they want to do. But it's not just that, the fear of choice. It's also what's going on in the world. You have global politics, you have the news, you have fear mongering, you hear reports of this or that. What else do you speak to as somebody's processing all of that?
There's always world events going on, and that will never change. So it really comes down to three big fears. And the first is losing money. The second is looking foolish or not really knowing what you're doing. And third is buying at the peak or buying at the wrong time.
Mm,
And when you stack all of these together, you can see how people get really paralyzed and they choose to do nothing from
mm.
that. But what people don't realize is when you choose to do nothing, you're actually making a decision with your money.
I think that's a big one. Let's talk about that a little bit. The fear of losing money. Is that misguided? Is that legitimate? Is that rational? What are your thoughts on that?
So no one wants to lose money.
Mm,
Like that is we definitely don't want to do that. But when you think about losing money, it's usually related to short-term market volatility.
mm,
I buy a stock and it goes down, and nobody wants to lose money like that. But I think what people need to do is reframe their mind away from short-term thinking like that to more long-term.
mm.
And when I think long-term, I start thinking about things like inflation. And inflation has been one of the biggest topics of the past few years, basically ever since the pandemic.
Mm.
And when you look since then, inflation has basically been growing at around 3% per year. And what that means is my money every single year is worth less than it was the previous year. So if I choose not to invest, I'm already losing money.
Mm.
So if you reframe your mind to I'm already losing money and investing allows me to not lose money and it's actually a way I can actually beat inflation, this helps getting over the fear of buying the wrong stock and it going down.
All right, those are all fair points, and I'm ready to begin. But then now I'm afraid to choose the wrong thing or mess up the beginning. What do you say to that?
Yeah, so everybody hopes for this perfect stock or this like exact 1, 2, 3 step plan where if I follow this, I'm guaranteed to make money.
Mm,
And the truth is, there is no perfect way to start investing. It can be individual stocks, it can be index funds, whatever works with your budget and whatever really you're willing to take from a risk perspective. But waiting for that perfect stock and not making a decision because of that is not a good way to go about doing things. And if anything, it causes more delay in you getting started, and all of that uncertainty is not good for long-term wealth building.
Timing is a huge part of that fear, right? You maybe identified a fund or a stock you want to invest in, but when's the right time? When's the wrong time? Is this the worst time? Is it on a pullback, etc.? What's your guidance?
Nobody wants to start investing and buy at the peak. Like that's the fear that everyone has. And it makes sense. Like it's nobody wants to be wrong with that first decision. But my recommendation is instead of focusing and putting all of your money in just once, it's to buy stocks over time. And when you buy stocks over time, this allows you to purchase at different points within that stock, meaning that some days it'll be up and some days it'll be down. And inevitably, over time, you will be able to buy the stock at really fantastic points. It allows your average price to kind of fluctuate with that. And over time, this allows you to feel really confident that you didn't buy at the wrong time.
Hmm.
You've picked a company you believe in and you've purchased it over time and hopefully had some nice wealth gains over that time period too.
All right, we talked about a lot of the fears and decision making. What do you think is the most critical thing for a new investor to really take hold of?
I think the biggest takeaway from all of this is that you need to invest despite the fear.
Mm,
All of these fears are not going to go away. I can explain and walk you through each of the fears, but it's very natural for everyone to be afraid
Mm.
of investing. You're starting a new skill. But what's key is that you move forward despite the fear. Again, it's not about being perfect. It's about building skills and being consistent over time.
All right. Well, thanks, Alex. That's super helpful. This episode's been about breaking through that mental fear. In the next episode, we'll deal with that practical question of how much should I invest?
That's right. Because as soon as I'm ready to get over this fear, it's time for me to actually get invested.
Let's pick that up next time.
Sounds great.